It should be live now. Go ahead, play. All right, folks, we're going to do something a little different this week. Next slide. All right, this is our first annual awards show that we're doing here on the channel. And let me swing back, and now we'll pull me up. And there we go. Let's go to, 1 second, guys. Always trying to figure this thing out, always trying to see what we could do. And look at that, I had my camera off. All right, I am partly in my tuxedo because we are doing an award show today. We are honoring some folks who we think have really earned the distinction about being what we call community ambassadors. So this is our first annual community ambassador show. We're covering 2024, the things that they have done and the achievements they have made. And with that, we'll do this first, and then we'll get to the news. And that's basically our show today. I'm Alim Gafar, streaming you to live from New York City. And this is This Week in MeteorJS, a weekly newscast of the MeteorJS Dispatches podcast. Already said my name. We are a weekly show. Did I say that already? I might have said that already. Okay, let me just move on. With me today are my two other cohorts. Let's see how we get you guys up now. Do I just bring that down? And there we go. Yeah, let's take this. Let's take this off for a second so we can see each other here. These are good people, all of us here, right? So with me are, to my left or right, whatever is that, at the top, is, hello, man in the golden tie.
Oh, this is me. I'm Küster from Germany. Hello and welcome to the awards ceremony.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. My name is Dvorak, aka Storyteller CZ, coming to you live from Prague, Czechia.
All right, and with that, let's see what the next slide is. Let's bring that back onto the screen. So where are we with the slides? Where the guys go? They're still here. Thank God. Okay, so this week's episode is sponsored by Galaxy. We'll call this. Usually, this is the Understanding Meteor segment. Let me get the banner up so that I can. Where is that? So we're gonna just run this at the bottom so that you can get your free credits. And where is that video that we all do here? And 60, you get $60 off for running your workloads on Galaxy. If you haven't made use of that offer, please do give it a try. Gives you about 2 months of runtime on the platform. And there we go. What do we got next? All right. So our awardees today are Min, Laurie, Radslaw, Harry, John Murrow, and then we have a general unknown contributor that we're going to be talking about a little bit later. All right. And let me just go forward from this and just kind of like, we'll move forward on these slides, right? What do we have next? Let's see what we got next. Oh, a blank. Okay. No, we got to go back. Okay. So who's up first?
It's me. So
okay. Hang on. Hang on. I gotta blow you up.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Let me introduce our first nominee. He has joined at the same time as myself in autumn 2016. And in summary, he's even more active than myself in nearly every aspect on the forums, like days visited, read time, posts, hearts given. He was also one of the first of my connections on Twitter when I started actively promoting my work. and he constantly engages in the forums and actively reposts everything on X that is around Meteor. So he is really promoting this thing. He enriches the community with his kind and informative style, and we hope to keep him for many more years. Welcome, Min-Yuan.
Oh, hang on. I apologize, guys. I need to bring Min onto the stage. So we add it right now, and let's. Whoa, what happened here? Technical difficulties. Min?
Whoa. Thank you, guys. I'm truly honored to receiving this award. And thank you, Alim, Küster, and Dvorak, and Meteor community. And I also want to give a big thanks to Mike, the Michael King from Back to That. And I've been lucky to work with him for the past 3 years, and he really helped me to become a better programmer. And I think I active in a forum, but I think the biggest thing I contribute to the Meteor community is the tool to upgrade the old Meteor app to the async API, and that's a project in the Back to That. We upgrade a pretty big app to the asynchronous API, and my task is this project, and I completed the upgrade using a dedicated tool, and that's to enable us to upgrade hundred of files, and that's a task that would be extremely time consuming and prone to errors if done manually. So after that, we decide to open source it, so other Meteor community could use it, and that's my story. Thanks.
Yay! Do we have some applause in the background, please? There we go. Excellent. Thank you, Min. And it's really great meeting you for the first time. We haven't had a chance to before, and well, I know I haven't had a chance to before, so it's pretty awesome to put a face and a voice to the person that does such amazing work in the forums, keeping everybody up, up to date and informed, and being helpful in general. So thank you so much for your service.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks you.
All right. I'm next up. Let me get somebody. Okay. All right. And there we go. All right. So the next person that we have up is, I'm really happy to actually introduce this next inductee. What can I tell you about him? He is, as the CEO of Wecken, he's responsible for one of the most important productivity tools built with MeteorJS. We've had him on the show a few times, and he's even helped co-host an episode. He wanted to let me know that he sometimes teaches at local coding at local meetups, and when coding, he usually listens to music on YouTube, like Amiga/PC game/demo music. That's pretty hot. Anastasia, Nigel Sanford, and K/DA. I don't know that band or composer or whatever that might be. I have to say, this guy, he can usually get excited when talking about his projects. And let me just say, for the record, I'm partly deaf, and he's a Finn, and English is not his native language. So when he's on a roll, I just follow along and hope my brain figures out what he's saying. All right. I'm really pleased to introduce Lori Oyansevu. Okay, and let me bring him to the stage now. Laurie, take it away. Laurie. There we are. Oh. You're up, Laurie?
Yes. So for this amazing Meteor journey, I would like to thank Maxime Guandalle that originally created vegan open source Kanban. So already at 2016, when I continued his work, he had created vegan, and Meteor already had so much features. So vegan only needed a minimal amount of code to be created, and I would also like to thank all the over 300 vegan contributors that have added many features and fixes. Currently, I'm also looking at new release of FerretDB, so could it be used to replace MongoDB? So all this tech like Meteor and FerretDB and all other is moving at amazing speed, and I'm excited to be on this space travel journey with you all and together pushing Meteor as far as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Laurie, for that. That was awesome. I appreciate all the stuff that you've done, and we also appreciate you joining us and helping out whenever we reach out to you. So we hope to have you again back on the program. I think we're going to be doing some more Raspberry Pi related things soon, right?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. All right, who's up next? I think we've got Storyteller here. So let's get him onto the stage. Okay. And there we go. And in the meantime, I got
Wrong screen.
Oh, I'm sorry. Wait. What did I do? Boy, this is a hiccup. There we go. And let's blow you up.
Yeah.
How do we do that again? There are too many controls open right now. I usually can see the control that allows it to blow up. What's going on here? Can I just, if I did that? No. Oh, here it is. Okay, now it's showing up.
All right. With every of people we have today, I was like thinking, okay, we never needs an introduction. This is a known person, and in a way, I would love that to be true. But for those of you who don't know who I'm talking about, he is of a former Vasco fame. He has worked on many, let's say, famous packages like Universe, INTN uniforms, and say more recently, or especially for those in production, for speed is change streams to Redis, and there's other things, production packages that he's working on. Today he is very much sporting, or maybe not today, but just like over the past few months, he has been sporting up a, let's say, a memento of past glories of his people, of the Wing Hussars. And I think for many in the future, what he has planned and what he has already done, he has been like for the people of Vienna in 1683, when the Polish cavalry came over the hill with their rescue of Vienna. And these days, I would say he, in many cases, will be a rescue for many production projects, which are tackling with speed, but also tackling with speed. He recently has provided us a new meme in the Meteor community. So I think it's more appropriate to give Radoslav Miernik, also known as Radek, the Speedy Gonzalez award of pushing forward, in production and beyond with Meteor.
Okay, thank you. So let's get Radek up there. Maybe we can get some applause for him too.
Yeah, like how can I take over from that? Like I was never called Speedy Gonzalez before, but okay. Yeah, so that's me. Very nice intro. And yeah, as Jan said, I'm basically almost always, but also recently focused on the performance end of stuff. So MongoDB integrations, the React integration, also recently Blaze, if you used it, a lot of async stuff. If you were on the Meteor Impact conferences before, and hopefully will be also this year, there was also a lot of stuff about fibers and like transitioning to Meteor 3. So yeah, quite a lot of things. And I can also shed some light a little bit of what I'm working on right now. So as Jan said, there were some like change stream to Redis things, but at the same time, we, as also Jan said, migrated to Meteor 2.16. That's where this meme is coming from. And I plan to have some like more detailed write-up about, let's say, scaling Meteor and also hosting it on Kubernetes. So you may expect some text to read about that. Yeah, that's me.
Pretty awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay. And who have up next here now? Let's just check that list again. And
Yeah.
we've got Jan Küster. So let's get him up onto the stage.
Yes, the next one is on me.
Hang on, Jan. Make sure you're up on the stage before you start talking. 1 second, bro.
Whoa.
There you go.
Okay. Our next nominee joined in summer 2017, and has evolved to a constant in the open source realm of the MeteorJS core, as well as the community packages with his pull requests and contributions. He's very empathetic, especially to newcomers, but also not shy of speaking out the unspoken truth when it's needed. With over 20K posts read, he seems to know nearly every topic in the forums, and he visits on a daily basis. So we can assume he's one of the most active members in the community. He's unfortunately not here, but we got a recording from him. So welcome, Harry Adele.
All right, and let's get that up here. 1 second. Let's get Harry up. Okay. All right, let's give that a go.
Today is a very special day, so I decided to bust out my undersized Meteor shirt because there was no medium-sized one at the time. So maybe it's time to send me a new one. I'm deeply honored to receive this recognition and would like to take a moment to thank a couple of people. First off, Alim and Jan brothers for bringing us together. Your consistent effort in bringing us together makes us more than just a framework. It makes us a family. I also want to share a personal story about Drop Fallas and Kelly Copley. Hopefully I didn't butcher their names. You two probably don't realize this, but you played a critical role in launching my career. When I was working on my take-home task for my very first job application, your guidance was invaluable. And I've actually written about this in great detail on my blog because it was a defining moment for me. Lastly, what I have learned from being part of this community is that every contribution matters. Whether it's creating video series like I did, submitting pull requests, reviewing code, or answering questions on the forum, each action builds upon the other. If you're new here and you've been hesitant to contribute, remember this: your perspective and skills are unique, and we need them to push Meteor forward. So thank you all for this recognition, and let's keep building this amazing community together.
That's pretty awesome. Okay, let's go. All right. Well, we're on to the next one. So we're blazing through this pretty quickly. You know, I mentioned Blaze, but this person has absolutely nothing to do with that. So let me tell you a little bit about the next person that we're giving an award to. You know, I want to start with a little bit of a history and story around this, because about a year ago, we noticed packages showing up in Atmosphere and announcements in the forum. And as many of you know, Atmosphere is the package manager for specifically MeteorJS related packages. It uses the Meteor package system. And for years, we see people putting stuff in, but we weren't seeing anybody putting in packages at the rate at which this person was doing it. It was first, there was one after the other. It was easy schema, Mongo transactions, methods, offline, PubSub. They just kept coming. And all we knew was it was somebody named Jam. And I wasn't quite sure if that was an actual username or a joke or, what it was. It was really so cool to see like all of these new packages being published to Atmosphere. Now, I checked out his avatar, and it's a dude in a helmet, and he looks like he's part of the bomb squad, And unfortunately, I did not get a chance to put up his a picture of his avatar from Atmosphere on here, but if we can get the slide that I have coming next, I want to, let's see.
Today he's
No, not this. That one after the white one. Yep. Okay, so what I kind of want to mention here is when you're looking at a picture of, this is not the person that won this. You're looking at a picture of Ben Newman. He's one of the OGs from MDG who built and maintained MeteorJS. Ben's a really cool guy. I've met him a couple of times. We had him at Meteor Camp in 2016 at the United Nations, and he's come back and he's given some talks at the Meteor NYC meetup. But the reason I'm bringing this up is when I imagine Jam, I think about like him being cool like Ben Newman, and probably wearing leopard skin pants. So if you see, there was a talk that Ben gave, and he wore these like, I mean, you got to be cool to pull that off, It's like not everybody could do that. So what I want to say is, with gratitude for his recent contributions and commitment to enriching the MeteorJS community with his work, we bestow on John Morrow the Ben Newman Too Cool for Fools Award and welcome him into this group of 2024 MeteorJS ambassadors. So a couple of things that I forgot to mention here. He's, he mentioned to me that he's a former rocket scientist, which makes me, all the more, all the more in awe of him and his accomplishments. And yes, that's the picture that he has of his avatar there. I know it's like a motorcycle helmet or something, but I just thought it's like he looked like he was part of the bomb squad. All right, and with that, he was not here today, so he sent me a letter to be read as his thanks. So let me just pull that up real quick and get it out there. So here we go. He said, in lieu of an acceptance speech, he just wants to offer a sincere thanks. Thank you to everyone who makes the Meteor community great. It's been a truly welcoming place over the years. When I started writing these packages, I didn't have a grand plan. It was mostly a way to give back to the community that has been so helpful and put ideas out there for gaps I felt were missing from the Meteor core. I hope people find them useful. And as always, if you have ideas to make them better, feel free to DM or open an issue on GitHub. All right. And he has some additional thoughts for later on in the program when we actually engage all the folks here in a further discussion. Okay. And with that, what's up next? I think it is, oh, yes, it is Storyteller who's up next. So let me get myself off the stage here. Right, pull myself back into the background and bring him up. Storyteller, do you want to present any slides, or is this just you?
That's just me.
Okay, cool.
So since Meteor started, there has been a lot of developers joining in. Let me just very quickly jump on here to see how many we have actually in the Meteor repository itself. 760. That's the amount of contributors, probably minus some bots and automated tools. So over 700 people went and contributed to Meteor. Obviously, not everybody is still with us today. People move on, hopefully not eternally. So this is a big thank you award for everybody who has contributed, not just to Meteor itself, but to also a lot of the many uncounted community packages and projects around there who have helped to keep the infrastructure going, the projects updated, and who continue on the toil on, and many who will probably never raise to such a prominence, or we'll have quite a few people who will come once in a while, descend down from the heavens, fix some critical thing or something that really annoys you, and then disappear into the ether. So this is all for those unsung heroes, the unknown contributors, the many hundreds, the legions that have contributed to Meteor and the ecosystem and community as a whole. So thank you, everybody, very much.
Awesome. All right, and yeah, that gets a cheer, I would say. And let's get me from let's get me off that screen. So let's bring back that list of all those folks who have contributed. Why did I? Oh, because I'm adding people back onto the stage here. But what I really wanted to do was I wanted to highlight our winners again. Thank you so much, everybody. I think they are all very well deserving of this award, and we hope we keep seeing them around in the future. They're great people, and we can't, we've been doing so much with them. It's very hard to imagine what it would be like without them. Thank you again. All right. And what's next? Hang on. Why can't I swap out? There we go. Okay. So I got everybody back here, and let me just take a look at our schedule here. And Jan, I think we have a round table now that we're going to do, correct? Storyteller, I mean. Sorry. I create confusion by just using a first name that two people have here.
Storyteller, your mic is off, maybe?
Hello, hello. Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Now, did we have a slide after this for the round table, or are we just going straight to the round table and I can remove this?
Round table.
Okay. All right. So why don't you do the introduction on that? Hang on.
So,
give me 1 second.
Sure.
I'm trying to swap with you. There you go.
Okay. So this was already mentioned a little bit in some of your speeches, but since we have you here, all the important people of this day, we want to ask the question: what do you feel should be next for MeteorJS? And I think, Alim, did you say that Jam had some initial thought, or?
Yeah, yeah. If you want, I'll start with those, so that way
yes,
you don't have
exactly. Let's do that.
Okay, let's go with that. So, John said, in terms of where I hope the Meteor community will dedicate its collective brain power, I prioritize a list of over 10 things, but here are the top 2. Scaling PubSub. I hope Jam PubSub provides some ideas on ways to have change streams and method-based subscriptions in core. And 2 is tree shaking. I knew there was a reason why I went for those leopard skin pants. Tree shaking was one of Ben's favorite topics. He says, I think moving to Vite makes sense here. More broadly, I think there's an opportunity for MeteorJS to become a great local first / offline first framework with server sync, of course, by making offline support a first-class citizen. It already has many of the pieces. Jam Offline attempts to fill in the missing parts. I also wonder what a lean / mean MeteorJS stack built for 2025 would look like. What if we took the essential pieces that make MeteorJS special, dropped all the legacy code, and used Bun under the hood? Food for thought. If MeteorJS was built from scratch today, would it still opt to keep all client subscription states on the server and use merge blocks to process diffs? If not, what might it do instead? So those are his thoughts that he's contributing to the conversation. What else do you guys have? All right. You want to start with Radek?
Yes, I would like to start Radek because he has kind of worked in many of these areas already. So let's get your thoughts in.
Okay,
Yeah, sure.
so let's bring him up there, and you know what? We should use this format instead. Go ahead, Radek.
Yeah, all good. So I would say that, yes, I completely agree with the scaling part of Meteor, because on the one hand, I believe that the community as we have it right now, with people like Harry producing those tutorials on those materials about like how to start with Meteor and like promote it everywhere, like Min is doing on X or Twitter, whatever. I think we are kind of safe on this end. And what I'm really missing right now is that we have a lot of applications in the wild that are using Meteor, and then there's a lot of people that are saying that, hey, we have to migrate to something else. And as a person who is maintaining an app that is built with Meteor for like 10 years now, I'm pretty confident in saying that, hey, it is working fine, it is working well, you just have to know what to do about it. But then there's not really a lot of like content about it in the internet. Like there are some slides, some presentations, so posts on the forum, but it's not really gathered anyway. So that's something that I think is really missing. And like for the ideas, I would say that scaling the publications is, I would say, to some extent the hardest part, because on the one hand, you can always swap out the methods for something else. You can use REST APIs, GraphQL APIs, gRPC, whatever suits you. But at the same time, the real-time sync communication is like a unique point for Meteor. And there's not really a lot of things that you can use instead of that because of the way they work. So projects like the DDP router that I'm collaborating with Meteor Software on, that maybe will be continued at some point, we'll see about that, will be a nice addition. And on the other hand, packages like the one from Jam, or like the publication adjustments that Zodern did last year with collaboration with somebody else from the community, I don't remember, the one that actually stops the oblog observers automatically for other collections. Like those are the things that we can actually push quite a lot from when we are right now. So like we can actually still find a lot of performance in there. So yeah, that's a starter.
Sounds good. I think everybody knows quite a lot of my thoughts on these topics, so I will not repeat myself. I think Laurie could be the probably the next best person, and we'll finish with Min on this one. So Laurie, let's go ahead.
Yes, so it is kind of related because I have been asked about scaling at Kubernetes and server-side sessions. So currently, the Meteor requires sticky sessions, and that is kind of problematic if there is too many users using one pod. And also, related to that, those authentication packages, those could also be working server side. So if, for example, there is only static server side rendering and static HTML at some web page, then there could be, for example, some post form and login at server side, and this is kind of related also to the question: can some of the pages be only static pages and others have the real-time functionality and others similar like in the Astra framework?
Have you tried playing with Astro yet?
Not yet.
Okay, yeah. I think we're all very, very intrigued by the concept of islands in Astro. And
Yes,
it'll be fun to see.
Yeah, I did make one test example that uses only server-side rendering, but also that would need with that could be used some server-side rendering package like similar what is newer version to the Jade and others, but also there are questions because at Galaxy there is support for Python and Node.js and others, and it would be nice to combine all the different kind of frameworks or features or AI or something else to the same umbrella, to the same application.
Very cool. We're getting some feedback or contributions from the chat. Harry, who was not able to make it today, is in the chat, and he just shared his thoughts about the future. Let me bring that back up again here. It says maintain the working recipe, shed legacy code, and allow Meteor to integrate nicely with other JS tools. So I think he is to some degree in agreement with you, Roddick, but I think he's got his slightly unique take to it also. So this is very interesting. Storyteller, what's up? What's next? Is it Min? Who's up next?
Exactly.
Okay, let me bring him up to the front.
Yeah, I work with Meteor for the long time, and I think people only focus on how to build like a very big, giant application with the Meteor, and but I think in order to make Meteor more popular, we should focus on how to make the Meteor work with like very small web application. We like that's like we have WordPress. It's very popular. Because it fits for very small web app like a single blog site, and I think Meteor we can start an app very quickly. We can deploy very quickly by using Galaxy, and but we have struggled with the sale because we don't have like we don't have the better SSR. So when we use the tool like the Lighthouse to benchmark the Meteor web app, it's not really good. So I think that's one piece of missing piece we need to fill up in order to make Meteor more popular.
Sounds good. So there's always, whenever you ask everybody, okay, how do you make Meteor more popular and stuff, everybody's going to give you, N+1 answers. But I think these things, or a lot of the technical issues and direction will be something that we'll have to resolve in the coming year or two. And there's a lot of interesting technologies going around, like BUN, which was already mentioned. So definitely, I think there's a lot of inspiration going around, and we have to kind of decide what we want the future of Meteor to be. Alim, Jan, anything else that you would like to contribute to this?
Oh yes.
At the end of this, go ahead. I'm sorry, Jan, please, Küster.
So in regards to making or raising the popularity, I very much agree with Min on this point of making the clients or having the Meteor clients out of the box much more lightweight. I mean, this whole topic of bundle size reduction, Lighthouse performance was always on my schedule to work on, because we also had some users with very low bandwidth, for example. So initial load time is very crucial, and initial rendering time. This is one thing, and in combination to that, I also thought about that when Jam joined us in one episode last year, that it might be awesome to have things like PWA or even offline first out of the box in Meteor. That would be awesome, because these things go hand in hand with client-side bundle performance. Many of the techniques there are also involved in general performance on the client-side load times. So this is definitely something I'd love to see, because that would keep up with the rest. The rest of the ecosystem is constantly evolving. I think personally the focus on integrating Vite is perfect, and that is making a very good step, because it will enable to keep up with the integrations. And I personally currently follow on the Vue side of things, because I personally found Vue has become very, very nice to work with front-end engine. And I'd love to see that it becomes a first-class citizen in Meteor, although I know that it will be React, but I really personally love to see that. And one more thing I'd love to see from the community side, and that is that I think we're lots of people, and there is so much happening going on, and I think it needs a little bit more bringing these things to the outside world. What happens there, what people are providing, what great apps are developed, but also what happens in the community itself, and what people do, like personal blogs and stuff. And yeah, that will also help to raise the awareness again.
So I gotta say, Comfolk, who's in our chat, is really giving some spicy takes to all the discussion that we're having right now, and that's exactly what we need. We need ideas. We need people confronting ideas that they hear about with their own ideas, and helping to see if we can get the strongest ideas out there. So thank you so much for your thoughts. Right now, I put these glasses on. These are for when I'm driving. I can't really see any of you very well, but I think it looks better as a presenter, don't you think? So it's I'll figure out like where the controls are in a minute, and then we'll go from there. All right. And
Yeah.
Küster, I think you were going to close out the section, yes? Küster?
Closing up the section by sorry. I'm totally in I was already in the next segment. So yes.
It looks like you are wearing my glasses now.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I know how you feel, Alim. This is exactly the same moment I just had right now. First of all, thank you for being here, because this means so much to us that you join us, show yourself, and be here with us, show that this is happening. And we also thank you for all your contributions, because I mean, this is not just something we did for the sake of fun. Of course we do it for fun, but it's because you really did something in the last year and beforehand and so on. And we hope to see you or have you here in the next years as well with us, to keep this community going, to keep this community growing, and to have you as our, what's the name of that? I wouldn't say colleagues, that's the wrong word. Alan, what's the name of this? Like the
I think it's like collaborators, right? Although that sounds like, like
like
we have a
like
scheme.
core members. And
Yes.
the ambassador role is nothing that we expect from you in the future. Things like now you have this role, and now you have to act in a certain way, do certain things. This is more of a reward for your past duties, I would say. Yeah. And
yeah, we're just recognizing who you are, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you already are ambassadors. We're just putting a title onto it. You're acting in that way, and we recognize it. We wanted to reach out and tell you about it. And there are others out there, like that we didn't get to this year, like RJ David, who is been on and he helps moderate the forums. And I don't want anybody to feel that just because we didn't get to them this year that we don't know. This was sort of a test run about this, and to see whether or not people are into it. And the other part too is this is just a really sneaky way for us to get you onto the channel
And to get dressed.
and to put on these glasses and look like a Hollywood presenter, but not be able to see anything properly. 30 feet away I could see clearly, but right now about 6 inches away from here, not so much. So
the same as for me. I never wear this tie before, so it was like the last 10 years in my closet, and I was thinking like, now I finally have the time, because it's actually red with elephants on it. And,
oh, that's awesome.
Just for the sake of it. And I think we're now closing this up, wrapping this up, and it was a fun part. And with that, I thank you very much for being here.
Take care, guys. Much appreciated. And you guys have a great weekend now. Let's clean things up a little bit, as they would say, and get back to all of this. Okay, I'm going to take this banner off for a second here, because it's great that we continue with it, but I think that there's been enough here that people can get. So what we're going to do now is, guys, listen, if you've enjoyed this is a little different than what we normally do. And if you've enjoyed it today, hit the like button and subscribe. Become part of the community. Hitting that like button lets other people know, lets the YouTube algorithm know that this is something that you like, and you're willing to let others know about it. So it gets more people to look at it. So please, hit that button. And with that, I think we're starting the news. I'm going to turn that over to you, storyteller.
Indeed. Let me pull up my notes as well.
Okay. And let's get the slides back up, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. Here we go. Oh, here's like button.
Yeah.
All right,
don't
guys.
forget, somewhere down there. And off with the news. Last week we had quite a few big important releases. First of them was Bun 1.2. Already mentioned here. Bun is the alternative in the vein of Node and Dino as for the server, JavaScript server. And similar like all the predecessors before it with Dino, it tries to get as much Node compatibility as possible, because of course Node is still the most popular. So in 1.2 they've increased the Node compatibility. Of course, as always, more speed improvements. That's kind of their advertised value. They've also added a S3 API, so that's for uploading or managing servers where you have files. And they also build in Postgres, following from what everybody else is doing in that area. And of course, they have a big huge changelog. So if that's something of interest, give that a read. These are kind of just like the 3 highlights.
Yeah, storyteller. So why do you think Meteor developers are going to be interested in this? I guess maybe it goes back to Radek's observation. Yes. Go ahead. So
first thing is speed. Say partially also compatible, or mostly compatible with Node.js, but in many aspects, Bun has a lot of similarities. With Meteor, it has a lot of things built in that normally in Node ecosystem you need a package for. So that's kind of where it's very similar. As mentioned already, speed really comes in the built-in Postgres, database also is very nice, though we are getting that in Node as well. Not sure if we have it already in our current version of Meteor, or it will be in the next Node LTS release. I'm now blanking on the specifics. So that really, because speed has always been an issue with everything. Everybody, of course, also always wants to get more speed for everything. So Bun right now, at least according to the advertisements, is the fastest, you could say, JS server out there. So that's big. And of course, another big one is TypeScript out of the box. So a lot of little things. And I would say now also that we have the S3 as well, that also kind of brings in the interest. So, but at the same time, one big thing is kind of to worry about is to to kind of, and that's I think why everybody's a little bit waiting, especially here at Meteor, is to see where Bun is going to go to, if it's going to continue and if it's going to keep up the momentum, or if it will have its own Meteor crisis moment like we had with Meteor, and then we'll try to do too many things and potentially
well,
fail.
I mean, that's always a risk, right? But all right, so let's move on. What's the next thing on our list here? Who's up next?
Another big release.
A big release, and let me first say something. I am a very long user of Bootstrap, and I still love Bootstrap, but I got like a year ago or something, I got very deep into Tailwind because of one of the projects at work. And there we are also using Vue and Vite, and it's just so awesome how fast you can change things, add new ideas, remove things, alter things, especially when you combine it with things like variant authority, CLIX, and something where you can say, I have conditional classes, I can do something like variants of certain things, and you start thinking in a much more component level design of your front end application, just because you don't want to mess up your code with thousands of Tailwind words. You start rethinking and you're building your components in a very new way, much more decoupled, much more modular. And now they released a Tailwind version 4, and it's lots of changes in terms of performance. They've rewritten the entire thing from the core, and it should be even faster, because in Tailwind it's like that. You write down your classes, and then you have to tell Tailwind how to look up. Like you have a glob pattern or something, and then it checks all the files and looks for all the classes that coming there. And if that class, Tailwind class, is inside there, then it's added to your bundle. And that's great, because then it's like tree shaking for CSS. It won't put stuff inside that's not required. It's only putting the stuff you define. Disadvantage is you can't easily use dynamic classes. Yeah, you can't just say I have a loop, and then I want to loop through the classes and dynamically create the classes, because then it doesn't detect them. This is why you build variants. But that's another story. I just wanted to say this is great, and they have improved a lot. I can't even take the time to read through all the lists, but it's mostly about performance, but also animation integration that was a pain before, and it's getting much better. We have now a Vite first-class citizen integration, which is also, again, one more pro argument for Vite. Also because I think Tailwind has clearly won the battle against Bootstrap. Bootstrap is still around nearly anywhere. It's still one of the OGs of CSS layouts and design frameworks. But if you started working with Tailwind, you will easily realize that it's just awesome. And it's a bet on the future. And if we support this, then we are also on continue to be in the game. So if you're using Tailwind, then check this definitely out. There's also already a forum post on making this work with Post CSS, because now Tailwind is not a Post CSS plugin anymore. This is now wrapped in an own standalone plugin, and it's already mentioned there how you can make this up, how you can make this work on your Meteor applications. And if you have any trouble with that, then get into the forums and join the conversation, and let us know if anything is not working, because this is one of the, in my opinion, one of the big priorities, that we make these things work, especially if they don't require any changes to core. If we as a community can just say like, hey, this is how you have to configure it to make it work, this is perfect.
Yeah, so can we step back for a minute, because I guess there are people like me that, you know, are very confused about like what Tailwind is. Is it like a processor like SAS, or, you know, is that its function, or does it do both the role of you know, of Bootstrap, which basically gives you pre-created components, you know, CSS components, and also does this sort of like act as a CSS compiler?
So the first biggest difference, for example, compared to Bootstrap, is in Bootstrap you have a theme and you have classes that merge certain CSS annotations inside this class to make a component. In Tailwind, you don't have that. In Tailwind, you simply have class names that represent the CSS, basically. So you write your CSS in your HTML or in JSX. And with that, you can create several combinations. And then if you're using tools like CLSX or Variant Authority, you can dynamically combine these things, saying like, if flag is on, this is, I don't know, display block. If flag is off, it's display flags, whatever, you know? And the compiler itself is simply adding these classes to your final bundle. Is that what you wanted to know, or is that
it just sounds like it's a complicated thing, you know?
It sounds in the beginning, it sounds like a complicated thing, but you know, there is one thing. Imagine you have an application and you have created a theme, like in Bootstrap, and then you have, for these things, for all your components, you have your classes, and now you have one deviation of that class. What are you going to do? Do you want to rewrite your theme to support that one deviation? Or do you want to write a custom CSS class for that deviation? I wouldn't want to do both, because I don't like to write CSS. That's just, for me, I really have a problem with, at the same time, switching context back, writing CSS. So what I would like to have is just having inside my code my logic and saying like, yo, if this flag is on, like, all the time, that's my default, and it's looking like the default. But for this very occasion, I want it having a bold border or whatever. And this is a big limitation when you're using Bootstrap, because then when you just have your theme and you know everything will look in that theme, and it's rarely dynamic, then it's okay. Then you're better with Bootstrap. And I have applications that use that, especially with Autoform, because everything should look as the theme dictates. There is no need for specifics there. So,
hey, more power to the people that like complications. I don't like complications, so this is not, you know, it's web. You know, I come from the time when you actually just like wrote an HTML page, and you know, and then CSS came along, and okay, you could style that separately. It's just become so complicated lately. It's just like, okay, you know, there are other people that are willing to do that. That's great for them. That's pretty awesome. By the way, I noticed that there had been, and if we can move to the next slide, there had been some discussion on the forums about this rewrite having an impact on how people actually use it with their old code. I was a little curious about bringing something up, which is with this rewrite, as you talk about it, is this like going from Angular 1 to Angular 2? Is it going to be like, is there such a big move that it's going to, you really have to, going from like Python 2 to Python 3, that, you've got to, there's so many changes that you really have to rethink how you're writing your code?
Sorry, what did you say? I was just trying to follow up in the chat on what the people were writing there.
Oh, okay. I see. You're being responsive to the people. No, so I was saying, is this rewrite, because you said it's a full rewrite, 4?
Internally.
Yeah, and if you noticed in the slide before this, like the highlight was like it said something like "Holy shit, we finally did it" or something like that. I forget. Can you let's blow that up for a second there, right? Is that what it said?
Holy shit, it's actually done.
So I'm not sure like what that reaction really is at the end of the day. So we go back forward. There are some responses that people had, which was like one of them was what does it say here? It says something like I try to upgrade on the project, but issue is that when he adds the add import, it creates a problem. So I think you were talking about this in terms of you mentioned this particular issue, didn't you? Just now.
That's the one. That's the integration issue. And as I said, you can configure things to make this work. And if it's still not working, I mean it's covered in the post. If it's not working and you have a reproduction that it's not working and it's because of how Meteor Core is behaving, you can still open an issue and then we can continue discuss things on the GitHub side.
Okay, so I see there's a lot of, I don't know if this is like trash talk. You guys can tell much better. We have.
It's a big reference that for example, why I'm not using Tailwind is because of the the amount of classes that you put in, for example, compared to Bootstrap and CSS in JS, which is what I'm using. So that's kind of where I stand on that.
All right, very good, guys. What do we got next?
Let's see. We are moving off to Meteor News.
Okay, where's the but before that, we just want to remind people that Impact is coming back. We want everybody to get that on your calendars or just get it in your mindset, right? That you're, if you have something that you might want to talk about, a project that you've worked on that you're pretty proud of, or the fact that you've been building Meteor and been doing it for years, and you can say like, hey, we've been running our app for 5 years, 10 years, whatever, and we're still all in on Meteor. We'd love to have you join us for Impact. And Jan, why don't you tell them what your expectation is for the time frame when this is going to happen, and what they can expect. Your microphone seems to be off.
Yes. So this is going to happen in September. So this fall, it will be one day. We'll start with Good Morning Australia, or in the case of Australia, Good Evening, because we have a sizable community of Meteor in Australia. So they will take the point and start off with the conference. And then we're going to go, let's say, around the world as more people wake up and join in, ending in America, of course. And at that time, I'll probably be on a lot of tea and dying, but that will be fine. I'm looking, as you mentioned, people doing showcases, telling about their packages and or anything interesting. Hopefully, if you have a package that you're working on and planning a new release around that time, it would be a good place to announce. and of course any other interesting workshops and ideas that you have that you want to share with everybody, how to make their Meteor applications better. So all those things, and stay tuned for more information as I get things up and running with all those things. Right now I'm working to make sure that we have a proper online place to meet. So it's going to be online. It's also going to be recorded, but the recordings are going to come way later. So if you want to be part of it, that's that. And finally, I'm also looking for sponsors, so companies or individuals who want to sponsor the conference, so you can have like a special sponsor slot. All that information also coming up probably in February, towards the end of February, as I clear out some personal issues, so I can focus more on this as well. So that's that. And finally, if we have a lot of talks, then I will potentially consider extending to 2 days. As you remember, it used to be originally 2 days, but first I want to see how many talks and what we get, and all the other logistics.
Yeah. Let's not entertain that yet. Let's just get a good set of talks to begin with, and then we'll go from there. By the way, I think for anybody that's interested in any of this right now, the conversation is happening in this forum post. The link is down below there. If we already have an interest, I believe, in one person, I think it's William, who is interested in sponsoring. And so just put your interest down, and once we get things straightened out, Jan will get back to you with the particulars and let you know where to go. That includes the CFP, link for the CFP so that we can capture your information, as well as any sponsorship or help that you might want to give. We already have, I think, at least one person who's indicated that they'd like to help out on the day of the event. So, or maybe even earlier. I'm not entirely sure what the scope of their volunteer offer is. So thank you on that. And let's get into the Meteor news. Who's sponsoring that? Oh, by the way, yes, subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. Let's get our numbers up there, okay? And let's move on.
So, Meteor News is now sponsored by Liter Universe. You sign up for one of our plans, you can use the promo code MeteorJS to get a month free, no matter what the plan is. So, yeah, check that out, especially if you're interested in literature. We will be launching in end of April, beginning May. So right now we are in a open beta, so get in early on the action, and you could say secure your seat for more goodies coming down the line. And yeah, let's move on. We'll have more about Liter Universe and our progress on that coming on. But first, we have I would say, a very interesting announcement from Just Do, which became source available. And Just Do is a Meteor-powered, as it says there, project management platform. So I was really thinking to say, Trello on steroids, but I think the proper would be to say it's more akin to Jira or Trello on crack, or any of the other crazy drags that will make you do crazy things. Of course, it runs on Meteor, so definitely worth it to at least check out to see how somebody else is building huge projects with Meteor. And with this, you can also, if you want to, you can also sign up for Just Do and get your project management set up there as well. And there are a lot of other things I recommend it. I myself got inspired to do a few other things there for my own project.
By the way, the quote is actually hiding the name of this person, because there's a little fun fact here. Let me get quickly to the forum and get the name out of it, because he is also the one who is maintaining and publishing a new version, or has published a new version of Tab I18N. which we covered in the past. It's a very famous Meteor package for internationalization that has been revived because it was like, we could say it was abandoned, but then it was revived, and now it's a working package again. Just let me quickly find.
Corey.
It's Daniel Shori.
Yeah.
Tios
I think it's pronounced Chikori.
Chikori, and it's the forum name is the OSP.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next, if you have what it takes, you can become part of Meteor Core or join as an engineer. There is a call on the forums and on other, I could say, platforms around. Meteor team is looking for an open source core contributor. And let me jump back to my.
I have to say, what's very encouraging about this is that Portuguese is not required, which I think some of the job postings of the past, that has been something I've seen people grouse about.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not listed here at all.
Yes, just so you know, of course you have to have knowledge of Meteor, Node.js, JavaScript, excuse me, MongoDB, and front-end technologies in general, but also experience in implementing testing frameworks and debugging. And I think what really speaks is the nice to have skills. What we see there, which is experience with bundlers, Webpack and Vite, and of course scalability, speed, and where is it? And I think that's kind of what I want to highlight. So there is definitely a lot on that. So I think we can see a lot of movement when it comes to hopefully bringing Vite into Meteor and moving on to scalability and speed.
Terrific. So I just want to give one here before we go. This is actually to our awardees. I should have mentioned it before. We were supposed to have a representative from Meteor Software with us today, but we didn't have a chance for that to happen. So Gabs was going to join us, but he had an emergency. And Gabs was going to mention at the end of each of these awards is that each person got a prize. This is like Oprah, the Oprah show. It's like you check under your chair and you have a Cadillac and you have a, whatever. There are no Cadillacs here, but each of the folks that were inducted today, Meteor Software so generously offered to give each of them $150 in Galaxy credits, as well as a t-shirt. So I'm going to say to all the folks that were here before, Radek, Lori, John, who was not here, Harry, who else am I missing here? Min, is there somebody else that's missing? No, those were the ones. For all of you guys, please reach out to Gabs Ferreira, who is the developer advocate, and let him know your t-shirt size, okay? And you should be hearing from them at some point with some kind of official notice that you've gotten this. And if you don't hear in about a week or so, please reach back out to us or to me directly, and I'll clear it up. Okay? And last thing is, next week, I may or may not be on the episode. I'm traveling, and I'll be in California again. And this time in a different part of California. But we are going to have folks, I think we're expecting to have Henrique, who is the CTO, I believe, right now at Meteor Software. And Henrique will be joining us to talk about how the Galaxy has expanded. So Galaxy is going to be It's a bigger situation than it has been in the past. It's only been for Meteor software. Now it's not just for Meteor anymore. And hopefully we will have a demo of how you can deploy new workloads in addition to deploying your Meteor applications. And with that, if there's nothing else to add, I'm going to wish you guys a great weekend. Thanks for joining us. How do we turn this off again?